Hello, this is Miss Peggy, your OT. Today I'm going to show you how to write neatly with spaghetti and meatballs. So here we have a bowl of spaghetti and meatballs. You can see that the spaghetti in the bowl is thin and long, and the meatballs are round and fat. Okay, so what does this have to do with writing? Let's look at our first sentence. Oh my goodness, I can barely read that. If I think it says what I think it says the cat drinks milk. Okay, and why is this so hard to read? Well, if you look here, the H is on top of the T, the E is kind of big, and there's way too much space between the word cat, C-A-T, and there's too much space between the first two letters of drinks, and the letter is way too big, and here we have too much space between the M and the I in milk, and over here we have the L and the K overlapping each other, and this big period at the end that's too large. Okay, so let's look at the second sentence. Now that is much more easier to read. And why is that? Because there are even spaces between the letters in a word, and there's a nice big space, even space between the words. So that makes it a lot easier to read. So what does that have to do with spaghetti and meatballs? Well, if you look at the neater sentence, you can see that, let's pretend that this is a spaghetti since Miss Peggy doesn't have spaghetti at home, but let's pretend this stick is a piece of long spaghetti like you see in the picture. You imagine that there's a long spaghetti right between the letters in a word. So let's look at the word the. Okay, so there should be just enough space between the T and the H and the H and the E to fit a spaghetti. No more or no less. And then between the words in a sentence, you want to imagine that there's going to be a meatball about this size right between the words. Do you see that? Okay, and then when you're looking at the letters in a word, like the word cat, again, there should be no more or no less space than fits one strand of spaghetti. You see that? Okay, so if we look at this word cat, you see one strand of spaghetti, one strand of spaghetti. Whereas if you look at this one, oh my goodness, the word cat is so spread apart that I can put 1, 2, 3, 4 strands of spaghetti between the letters. So we only want just one strand of spaghetti between the letters, okay? And then between the words, again, you think of a meatball. That's where the meatballs go, right between the words. And they should all be evenly spaced, okay? So when you write your words, you're going to try to fit spaghettis and meatballs. Okay, so I'm going to write the first word, which is the. Okay, and bear with me for a second. It's hard to write on a camera, but we'll try this. Okay, so I'm going to write my T. Okay, and then I'm thinking to myself, and if you have a spaghetti at home, you can use one too. Okay, I just need to leave just enough space to fit a spaghetti, so that would be right there. Good. Do you see that? The H is right there, enough space to leave a spaghetti. And then put another spaghetti here, and that's where I write the E. Okay? So they're close enough, but they're not touching. So there's the word the. And then I'm going on to a new word. And so I'm going to put an imaginary meatball, or if you have a piece of eraser or whatever you want to use to pretend that's a meatball, put a meatball there, and then you start your new word, which is cat. There's C. Then I'm going to put one spaghetti right next to it. Okay. Now I don't want to start here because that's too far away and that would have too many spaghettis in between. So I want to start about right here, touch that spaghetti and come back down. Okay. And then another spaghetti. And then that's where I would fit my T. Okay. Do you see that? The cat. And then you would put another meatball, and so on and so forth. Okay, so why don't you give it a try and see if you can write your sentences with spaghettis and meatballs. You can take a picture of what you did and show it or send it to Miss Peggy. All right, good luck. Have fun.